He's a sweetheart, Mr. Kyle. Come on, lady. Give Mr. Kyle a kiss.
You see, I have a rule. I don't kiss anything that uses its tongue as toilet paper.
Baby, dogs' mouths are cleaner than human mouths.
Yeah, let me lick my butt, then kiss you.
Some sitcoms got the perfect ending. Others ended way too soon, leaving fans with unanswered questions and unfinished stories. Today, we're taking a look at 10 sitcoms that deserve a reboot. Because sometimes the world deserves one more laugh. Number 10, Barney Miller. Barney Miller was one of the smartest sitcoms of its era, a grounded, character-driven comedy set inside a New York police precinct. It balanced social commentary, absurd humor, and heartfelt humanity long before shows like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or The Office existed. But as TV moved on, Barney Miller quietly faded into cult classic territory. Its dry humor and low-stakes realism were replaced by flashier, faster-paced comedies. Today, a revival could work perfectly, especially in an era craving grounded workplace stories again. A new generation of detectives dealing with modern issues, but with that same quiet wit, could bring Barney Miller back into the spotlight. It's proof that you don't need chaos to make comedy work sometimes. Just a desk, a few cops, and a bad cup of coffee will do. But our next show deserves a comeback for an entirely different reason. It ended way too soon. Number 9, My Name is Earl.
And I was married to Billy.
Billy? Who's he?
Oh, crap. I think the coma made him gay.
My Name is Earl was one of the most original sitcoms of the 2000s. It followed Earl Hickey, a small-town crook who wins the lottery and decides to turn his life around by making amends for every bad thing he's ever done. But after just 4 seasons, the show was abruptly canceled, with no warning and no real ending. Fans never saw Earl finish his list, and the story of redemption that made the show so special was left wide open. A reboot could finally close that karmic circle or explore how Earl's idea of doing good would work in today's world. Imagine an older, wiser Earl trying to right new wrongs in a time where karma isn't as simple as crossing names off a list. Earl always believed in second chances, and this show deserves one. But our next sitcom didn't need a second chance. It needed just one more season to reach greatness. Number 8, Freaks and Geeks.
This version of...
Freaks and Geeks captured high school in a way few shows ever have. It was awkward, honest, and full of future stars like James Franco, Seth Rogen, and Linda Cardellini. But despite critical acclaim, the show was canceled after just 1 season. NBC didn't know what to do with a teen comedy that wasn't flashy, just painfully real. A reboot could pick up decades later, following the same characters as adults, still figuring life out. It wouldn't even need to be about high school, just about how the same misfits grew up in a world that changed around them. Freaks and Geeks proved that imperfection is what makes people relatable. And our next show had that same charm, but with a college twist. Number 7, A Different World.
Me and Megan are going out to get my birthday present. You can bet it won't be no funky pajamas, because I don't wear them, baby.
A Different World started as a Cosby Show spinoff, but quickly became a groundbreaking look at Black college life in America. It tackled serious issues, race, politics, class, and identity, while still being funny and heartfelt. But after 6 seasons, it ended right as it was finding new cultural relevance. And since then, there hasn't been another sitcom that captured that same mix of education and entertainment. In a time where conversations about diversity and college access are more relevant than ever, A Different World could thrive. Imagine a reboot set at an HBCU today, new faces, same spirit, and the same blend of laughter and learning. It taught lessons that still matter, and it's long overdue for another semester. But our next sitcom didn't need lessons, it just needed another chance to be weird in the best way. Number 6, Community.
Credits.
I'll show you the tool that's most important to our survival, but fair warning, it's my penis.
Community wasn't just a sitcom, it was meta TV at its finest. It broke every rule, parodied every genre, and turned a community college study group into one of TV's strangest, smartest families. But constant behind-the-scenes drama and cast departures threw the show into chaos. By season 6, the magic was fading, and the dream of 6 seasons and a movie became a running joke. With the movie finally in the works, now's the perfect time for a full-on revival. Reuniting the original cast in a rebooted format, maybe as teachers now could bring Community's meta humor full circle. They got the movie, but fans still want the show. And speaking of fan favorites, this next sitcom ended before its family even got to say goodbye. Number 5, My Wife and Kids.
I gotta get this wolf taste out my mouth.
My Wife and Kids gave us one of the funniest and most relatable sitcom families on TV. Damon Wayans as Michael Kyle was a loving but sarcastic dad who always had a plan and usually a lecture. But after 5 seasons, the show was canceled without a real finale. Fans never saw the family's story wrap up, it just ended. A reboot could bring the Kyle family back together, older, funnier, and still clashing in classic sitcom fashion. It'd be the perfect chance to update the humor from modern parenting while keeping that same heart that made it special. They deserved a real ending, and so did this next group of geniuses. Number 4, Malcolm in the Middle.
Stop playing with your food.
Oh, Mom.
Don't you dare.
Malcolm in the Middle captured the chaos of growing up in a dysfunctional family better than almost any sitcom ever made. It was hilarious, smart, and surprisingly emotional. But after 7 seasons, Malcolm's story ended with him heading to college, and that was that. Fans always wanted to know what happened to him, Reese, Dewey, and the rest of the family. A revival could follow Malcolm as an adult, maybe a dad himself, realizing he's turned into his parents. It'd be nostalgic, chaotic, and perfectly self-aware, everything the original did best. And if Malcolm grew up, then so should this next show, a sitcom that balanced monsters and metaphors. Number 3, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Okay, this next one isn't really a sitcom, but I just had to talk about it. Buffy the Vampire Slayer wasn't just about vampires, it was about growing up, loss, and identity. Buffy Summers was a hero for an entire generation. But after 7 seasons, the story wrapped up, leaving the Buffyverse open for expansion that never truly came. The spin-offs and comics kept the world alive, but fans wanted to see it again. A modern reboot could explore new slayers, new threats, and fresh perspectives without erasing what came before. It's a world big enough for more stories, and audiences are ready to return to Sunnydale. Buffy's story ended, but her legacy never died. And neither did our next sitcom's charm, even if it ended years ago. Number 2, Parks and Recreation.
You know what? Let's go! Time to dash. Out of the way! Yeah! Woo-hoo! Call an ambulance!
Parks and Recreation started as a simple mockumentary about small-town government. But by the end, it became a show about hope, kindness, and the power of people trying to make a difference. It ended beautifully, but maybe too soon. Fans still miss the optimism of Leslie Knope's world, especially in a time when we could use more of it. A soft reboot could explore Pawnee years later with new faces inspired by Leslie's legacy. It wouldn't need to replace the original cast, just continue the spirit that made Parks and Rec feel like home. Because in Pawnee, the story never really ends. And that brings us to our final sitcom, one that should have been iconic for much longer. Number 1, Scrubs.
Best friends.
Look out, Tiger!
That'll play.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, and the guy getting married has to caddy for the other guy naked.
Huh?
Scrubs was the perfect blend of comedy, emotion, and heart. It followed JD, Turk, Carla, and Dr. Cox through the ups and downs of life in Sacred Heart Hospital. But after its near-perfect season 8 finale, the show came back as Scrubs, med school and fans instantly knew it was a mistake. It felt like a spin-off pretending to be the same show. A true Scrubs revival with the original cast grown up, maybe running their own hospital, could finally bring the series full circle. Fans want closure, not confusion, and there's still room for stories about love, friendship, and medicine. So what do these sitcoms teach us? That when a show leaves too soon, it leaves a hole that time doesn't quite fill. Maybe it's time to give them all one more shot, because the best laughs always deserve an encore.